George likes his chicken spicy.
Spice up your life!
Spicy, no?
And this is the new spicy.
Welcome back to Spice. We're joined here by my friend Carlynne.
Hello.
And Carlynne's dog Joan might appear. Today is one of our videos about Bible studies. How to help you, here's Joan, run a Bible study. But particularly today, Carlynne, I'm wondering if you can talk to us about how the Uniting Church understands the Bible.
Yeah.
Because it's distinctive, and I think it's important.
Yes, it is distinctive.
So, do you want to? Where's a good place to start?
Well, I think one of the most important things to say, or well, at least an important thing to say, is that while there is a Uniting Church sort of view-ish of the Bible, one of the things that's really wonderful about the Uniting Church itself is that it's so diverse and so broad. And so, in saying whatever I say, it needs to be noted that a lot of different churches and different people will view the Bible in different ways.
Yep.
And that's okay, and that's kind of how we operate. And so it's not as though the church has an official position on the Bible that everyone has to fall in line with.
Yeah, sure. That's really helpful.
Yeah.
So, with that caveat...
Yes. So, the Bible, I think the way that the Uniting Church would view the Bible is as a weird and helpful and old and sacred collection of books that we use to see Jesus and to hear from the divine, and we use it to preach from, to expand with one another in helpful ways. I'm going to try this out. The basis of it's just so annoying. The basis of union. I love that she's doing this. The basis of union describes the Bible as witnessing to the Word. So it doesn't describe the Bible as the Word of God, but as something that points us to it. We see it as vital to our worshipping communities, to our lives together. The basis also says that members of the church and ministers obviously will be committed to opening it up and getting in there. But I think there's a real view and a real understanding of the Bible as something that is there to be opened up, and more so to be kind of dug into and to wrestle with and to learn from, not as a sort of a still document that tells us exactly what to do, but as a document that is living and breathing and talking to us and witnessing to us about the truth of God.
Yeah, and I've always found a helpful analogy that in Jewish society and the early church, the Bible actually was used to provoke conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you would read it and then discuss it.
Yeah.
Rather than this sort of it being the final word.
Yeah.
So I think in that sense for Bible study and in youth ministry and devotions and stuff, I find our approach to it really liberating.
Yes, absolutely.
It doesn't diminish what's in there, but actually we see it in its fullness.
100% agree. Exactly, and it's liberating and helpful and life-giving to have this gift of the Bible, which is not something that's there to restrain us or put us into a mold or overburden us with rules, but to free us to meet with the divine in our day-to-day lives, to I could learn from you and your perspective of how you read certain texts, and you can do the same to me, and we can wrestle with that together and disagree with each other, and that's fine. Like Jesus often interpreted scriptures as he talked, and perhaps people thought he misinterpreted them. He changed the meanings of things. He mixed things up. Even the biblical writers themselves, as they wrote books, used things like grammar and the way that they were phrasing stories, the themes behind their stories, to make points. It's all there to kind of provoke thought and discussion. Yeah.
Do you have any words of encouragement? to our volunteer youth leaders, the legends watching this at home,
Yeah.
who might be on devotions this week or might be leading a small group or Bible study this week, knowing how we hold these sacred texts, these weird mix of literature and history and poetry, any words of encouragement where we might be anxious or worried that we're going to get it wrong?
Yeah.
From your experience.
I know that feeling. So I know that feeling. But I guess a piece of advice would be, don't be afraid to open it up, to ask what people think. It's a scary thing to do because you don't know what they're going to say. But more opinions in the room is a good thing. And also don't be afraid to say up front that you maybe don't know. I think people who lead things often feel as though they have to have all the answers, but the more I learn, the more I realise that I don't know, and it's actually just best to be upfront about that. And I think anyone who says they have all the answers is lying. So, yeah, I think those things, and wrestle with it with other people. I find, particularly if you're just getting into looking at the Bible a bit, it's actually tricky on your own.
Carlynne, thank you so much for helping us add a little bit of spice to our Bible studies.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
That was awesome. That was really great.